Welcome back, guys. So in the previous video we have created template files and the sign up and login. So now in this video we are going to create all the backend part like models, forms and views. So I hope you have subscribed this channel and like this video. So let's get started.
So we have created the login and logout system using all-out library. Now we are going to implement this personal information page. So what we need to do is we need to create a model so that we can create a database table, and then we can implement this form using views.py, and we can submit that form and the get and we can get the data in the database. So for that we are in the models in the home.models.py. Now create a class info, inherit from models.model, and we can say that name is equals to a name should be characters, a list of characters. So we are using models.char field, and it should have a maximum length of 50, and it can be null, it can be blank. Why we are taking it as blank? Because we are not assigning any values. If we get any value from the user, then we can assign it, otherwise make it blank. The second thing is mobile number. So mobile equals to model dot, it can be an integer field, and it has a maximum length of that 10 numbers. So yes, we can do that. So let me just go to the Django portfolio and copy all these models, how I designed this, so it will be more clear for me and you also. So here we are having first thing is user, and the second thing is name and profile mobile out. So let me just copy all this and paste it here. Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the win. So copy this and paste here. Okay, let me just copy and paste it fully from there to here. So here we are having this user info class, and we are using this user as a foreign key. Foreign key is the user that needs to be there, because other if your user is not logged in, user is not authenticated, then the page will not be redirected to the user info page. So if we are having this setting dot auth user model and the on delete models dot cascade, so that we can delete all the instances from the database if someone deletes the data. The second thing is name, that is a character field, that is a text field in this, and it can be null and true, but we should take it as null equals to true and blank equals to true. Otherwise, if you don't have the, if you don't want to add the name, then this field make the errors. So the next thing is profile picture is image field, and it will upload to the images, but we don't have this images folder, so we need to create that media folder and the images folder there. The third thing is email, and then about. Email is email field, and text field is a text area field for about. Mobile number, we have a decimal field, so we are not using integer field, we are using decimal fields, and maximum digits can be 10 and decimal places 0. The next thing is slug. Slug is an id, you can say it as id for the user that we will use, so it should be unique, so that's why we are using unique is equals to true. Profession can be anything, so just a character field with a length of 50. Place can be anything, just a character field with a length of 50. So For the returning of the model, we are using the string function, and the return is self.slug, that is returning the slug that is unique for every user, or you can say every user's info. A user can have multiple user info, but this should be different for every instance in the data every instance in the database. So the next thing is generate slug. So this slug will be auto generated by the system, by the backend, so that we use this method. So user have to call this function when user is entering the data, and then this will be result dot join. So we need to import these classes: random, string, sky characters, uppercase plus string digit, and k equals to 6. So value equals to self dot name, so the name plus the result. So the result is something uh, that is coming from this uh, ASCII uppercase characters plus string dot digits, and the length should be 6. So both these, after the concatenation of both these values, the value will be returning, and the slug candidate is equals to slug original, and this function slugify is used to create the slug. So allow unicode is equals to true, and then we are using this iter tools to check if a user is exist or not. If a user is exist, then break, otherwise if not, user dot info exist, break, otherwise slug candidate, and dot format slug original. I is for incrementation, and you can say it will be different for 1 2 3 4 users, and this will be a slug at the final stage, that will be slug dot cell dot slug equals to slug candidate that we are generating here. This will return the slug, and this function is calling the generate slug function, and we at the views will call this function slug save, and this will be used for getting the image URL that we have used here. So let me copy the required imports. So copy all these, paste it here. Now it is working fine. You can see that there is no errors, and we have created this form. Now we need to go to the forms.py file and the media directory. How to create that media directory? Go to the Django portfolio, and then we can go to the my portfolio and the settings and the URLs. First check the URLs. In the URLs we have to define the media root and media URL. Copy this, paste here, and in the settings we have to write the media directory and the media URL, something like that. Go to the settings. No one can't remember this, so that's why I am using create this project that is created by me. Mm, so media URL is done, media root is done. Now whenever we will submit the form, then the media folder will be created here, and in that folder image folder will be created, because we have used uploaded two images in this images folder, and the user's picture will be submitted there. Done. Now we need to create the forms. Go to the home, and in the home page we will use this forms.py file. We will have this. So Let me create a forms.py file here in this home new Python forms. So here we can paste that in. So we are not having these models for now, just having this one model. In this we are not having the user and the second thing is Slug, because user is already logged in, so we don't need to write a user name again. It will return automatically. And the second thing is Slug, that we are generating automatically. That's why we are not using here. So now go to views, and in the views we are having user info here. Now we need to create a form. So first import the form from dot forms, import info form. So here form equals to info form request dot post and request dot files, because we are using the image field, that's fine. So we can write it as if request dot method equals to post, then run this. Otherwise form equals to info form and nothing in that. So that's how we can create the form, and we can use form the save method, but we will not use this exactly because we will get the data and then assign it to the database. So go to the views.py. Here you can see that we are using decorators for login. So this decorator we will use for login required. Mm, Now here if we write it login required, then now let me just remove this. No, don't remove this, just make it okay. Now if I go to so here if I am logged out and if I try to start without logging in, then it will say to sign in. So that is the main thing that we are using here for login required. So if the user is logged in, so check for the logged in user, and we have created the account, you can say remember me. So I am logged in, and now you can see I am on the info page. So here we need to write the logic for the creation and the submitting the form. So go to the info form. So this is create info. Let me just copy all this. I'll explain what is it. Control C and Control V. Get HTTP response. Okay. From models, import user info. So if the method is post, then form will be request dot post and request dot files. This means that we are having data in this form. So if the form method is post, Otherwise, if the method is not post, then it should be a blank form. And again, after submitting the data, the control goes to here to check that if it is method, if this method post or get. If this method get, that again the data, again the control will come here. After submitting, the control will go here, check the post state, check this statement, and if it is true, then the form will be uh, form will have the data in that, in these values. And then we'll check if form is valid. Then we will get the data in a variable: name, profile, email, about, mobile number, profession, place, etc. And after getting the data, we will use user info class, model class, and we will write object dot create for creating a instance of that user. So dot create user equals request dot user name equals to, that is variables. All these variables we will assign them user dot slug save to creating the automated generated slug from the function that we have designed for generating the slug. And after all, message of success and the redirect from home to detail. So it will have a slug, it will return a slug user dot get slug, so that the skills for that particular user, um, skills details for that particular users can assign. So we need to uh, call this import this redirect here. And the second thing is messages. So from where, I think it is from conf django.conf django.contrib import messages. So we have imported the messages all as well. And now we need to see that users, this is details. And after this we will write it as slug, because now we are giving it a slug as well. So user dot get slug is that for getting the slug. And it is home and details. So everything is done now. Let me see the template files for infoform.html. And here we are creating this form. So after creating this form, we need to pass the CSRF token. That is very important, otherwise this form will not work. So the name should be, what you can do, you can just comment it out. This part should be commented out. From now you can see the actual form. So I have passed the form. Now if I run this, it is saying something went wrong. Why it is saying something went wrong, let me check for that. Okay, let me remove this. Okay, one thing we have not done here, we have not created table in the database. So for that we need to run this command python manage.py make migrations. And now migrate python manage.py migrate. Now run the server again. You can see the error here. Okay, we have used the error handling methods, that's why error is not displaying. So let me remove this for checking the errors. Okay, it is saying that template does not exist. So that is the error that we are getting. So now I think it is okay. So this is the form that we are getting from that form. This this form. So we will not use this form. We will use this form because it is quite better in styling. So what you can do for checking how the form is created, you can print form and again run this. Now the form is in this in this form, and you are having this uh, all these HTML code for creating that form. So you can check for names and the ID. Name is name, ID is ID name. So this is how you can create this form. I have created this form from this method. And I use bootstrap classes, that's why it is looking good. So all the names are same. Okay, so if I submit this, let me write something. Sean 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, email ID this, about something, profession, place. And okay, command prompt is closed somehow. Let me open this again. We have filled this form beautifully. Now save this. So details got an expected argument slug. Okay, in this views.py file, so now you can see that we are getting this media file and the image file that we have just passed in the form. Now in the views, details got an extra argument, that is slug. So we are passing that slug field here. The error is from this details. That's why you can see that it is an unexpected keyword argument. That's why we are using the slug field here. So we are getting the slug now. So now we will implement this details part. So what we can do, we can use this see details, detail view. This one is detail view. So copy this, paste. It should be login required. So then context. So what we are doing is we are creating a dictionary. In the dictionary, we are using context, and the field is details. And in that details field, we are getting the that users info from that slug. So this is the code to get the one instance only. We can use get object of 404 as well. This one is also fine, and that one is also fine. So now configure the details.html. So here uh, what we are returning, we are returning context. In the context we are having this details as the key. So in the details.html we will use this key details, the key details as the key. So the key dot value. So in that details key we are having another we are having the value name. In that details key we are having the value for the picture and the about all these things, and we are using this as the um, Django template language, and this that's why we are using curly brackets. Please now reload this, and if you see this, then it is John users details, and this one is about email, mobile, profession, and place. Now you can go to the next for adding the skills, but before that we can use this edit function. So what we can do, we can update the info, but how can we update, because we are not getting the actual value that we have submitted first. So we need to configure the views for this. Go to the views, update info. Same, we need to create a dictionary, or we can directly say that details equals to get object. We need to import this get object or 404, and the model name is user info, and the slug field is slug. So we need to pass the slug as well, and for passing the slug we need to go to the details.html, and here update info, and the slug is details.slug, and here urls. In the urls we have to pass the update info and the slug. Okay, this is done. So in the details we have done this. Now we have this is called an instance, so we are using this as instance. Form equals to uh, same as before, info form, request dot files or none, and we must have this request dot we request dot post or none, and request dot files. So these are the fields that we are required for this. Now, but what if the card the what if the method is not a post method? So if request dot method is equals to post, then run this code. Otherwise, form info form request dot post request dot files instance equals to instance. Okay, so we can write it as object. That will be simpler. Okay, now we need to check if the form is valid, and form dot save if form dot is valid. So let's check the code that we have written here for the update. This one is update info. It is saying that obj get object of 404. This is everything is same. Okay, we forgot to pass this messages. So pass this message home.details, and this is and or relationship. So go back. Now again run this. If we click on edit, so you can see here we will get the update info and the slug field as well. Now in the URL update info and the slug field, but we are not getting the data here. Why? Let me check for the update info.html. Now here we are having this form dot mobile number dot value, but what we are using there? Okay, we are not returning I think anything. We are not returning form, so return form. That's done. Add it. Now you can see here we are having the values John, mobile number, email, about, and this. You can change these values. You can change the picture as well. Let me change for the name. Name should be Harry, and update. Okay, after clicking on update, it is not doing anything. So let me check for that. After clicking on update, it should be okay. Info form. Let me check for the GitHub code. OBJ is the first thing. Okay, we don't need to check for the post method here. Don't check for this method. Now, if we update this as Harry and click on update, okay, again we are not getting this. Let me check again. No, again we are having this form. Get post. What we are doing wrong? If form dot is valid. So let me write again it as Harry. Check the code again. For info slug equals to slug instance. This okay. I think it is okay now. Update. Okay, the info now you can see the message is there, and the name is, where is the name? Harry is the name. Okay, here we are getting the name. Harry users details. Harry details. We can change this in the details.html. We don't need this user details. Harry's details is fine. Okay. So the now next thing is skills uh, skills views. After clicking this next, we are on this page. So we need slug and the code for this skills part. So let's see from the home page what we have done so far. So we have created a sign up page and we have created a login page, and I have my account. So let me just log in. So now we are signed in as this my username. So let's start. So we have this page. On this page we can write name. This is my name. Let's say mobile number is this, And for mail, you can write as this. This is my mail ID, and you can write it as I'm a developer, software developer. You can write anything. If you are a student, you can write something like I'm a student from this. This is what we write in portfolio. So it is asking for profession, so you can write as software developer. And your city, you can write city is New Delhi. And for profile picture, you can choose your profile picture. So let me choose this. So let's save this. Okay, profile is created. So this is the slug field that is generated. This is my slug. If I want to go to my profile, then I use this slug field. So it is still loading. That's why the image is not working, not displaying here. But you can see all these information is here. So this should be a button. So this should be a button to go back to the home page, and let's work on this button. So what we can do, we can just pass the URL on this anchor tag that is for our home button. Let's go to the navigation bar. On this navigation bar, we have to change this because this is on the navigation bar. So let me change this. So here on the navigation bar, where is the, yeah, this is the button for the home. So write this as URL, the namespace and the name. Both are this. Okay. Then this would be same. Let's check. Can refresh this. So let's, okay. Now this is working fine. So let's log out and then again check. Log out. And if I click on home, okay, it is working fine. Let's sign again. Okay. So now see, if I am the home page, I'm on the home page and I want to see my portfolios. So it should be displayed here. And if I want to see that I'm already a user, so I don't want to again this info. I don't want to enter this info again. So what I can do, I can click on this already a user, and then I can check for my already created portfolios. So what I can do, I can create a page that will have the all my data. So on the click on of this button, I should go on that page. So for that, let me check for the GitHub page what I have created for that. So already a user, already user.html is that page. So let me copy the content. It's very simple. Let me just create these pages first. So create a new HTML page. Already user. So I have created this page, and let me copy and paste this here. So this one is here, and now you can see extends based.html that is necessary, and this block content and the container, all these things for bootstrap classes. Now here you can see your profiles, that is a card header bootstrap, and here I have the page form. I have form. Okay, for details, in details, I don't think so we need a form. Let's check for the views. So go to the views, and here I have to create a function for already user. Here I have to pass the request. So this will be a function, and I have to create a URL for this. Let's say this path and the user, and views dot already user, and name should be same. So on this page already a user, we need only one thing, that a user should be logged in. We don't need any slug because all these slug will be displayed. So let's go to the PyCharm, and on the views it should be login required. Okay, so let's go to the GitHub and check what is the code written. The views.py, and in this everything. So here the function name is get user and all this. So let's copy this and paste. Don't need this. So this is our page. So what we are doing here, we are creating an empty dictionary. In that dictionary we have the key as details, and in this key we have another dictionary. In that dictionary we have all these details of that user. So how we are getting on that particular user? So what we are doing, we are writing a Django SQL query, that Django database query, that is user info, that is our model name, and we are importing this from the models, and from models dot all the objects, and we are filtering that user should be request dot user, that is the logged in user, that is authenticated user, and all these details and all the user object should be extracted. So we are getting all the user objects. So and we are rendering this page, and we are passing that dictionary. So let's see the info form page. So this one is info form, and here we are having a button that is already a user. Now this button have the URL as home and already user. Okay, now go back, already user, click on this button, and now it is saying reverse for detail not form. Okay, so what we have done wrong here, uh, on this page already user.html, we are having this user and details. Now I think it should work fine. So now you can see here we have two profiles that we have created. So on this already user, we don't need this button, this form, because we are not giving any data, giving any inputs. We are just uh, getting our profiles. So we have created this Harry profile. So it is taking me to the details page, and this one is also taking me to the details page. Now what we need to do is we need to edit this. So we have to write the update function that we already have done. I think update function we have done. So if I click on this, you can see this is okay. Now let me update for this name. Let's say this is my name. So this one is updated. Okay, this is done. Now, so let's click on next. So we have to configure this add skill page because we are not getting the slug here. First thing, so we need to pass the slug in this URL. So let's add the slug here. Now in this views we have to accept the slug first. So the function is add skill here. We have to accept the slug here, and now what we need to do, we need to get the user and add all the skills in that user's details. So what we can do is uh, let's check for that. This is skill detail view and skills detail view, skills info. So copy this and paste it here. So we have to create first thing that is a model for all these skills that we are going to register, and the second thing is we need to create a form for skill form. So you can see here we are having the skill form and this skill model. So let's go to the forms page, first models page, model.py, create a class for the skill model, and this should be a model, and we need to create two things, name, skill name, and the percentage uh, of that skills, level of that skill. So for, and the second thing that we have to write is username and slug for that particular user. So the slug field will be the foreign key and the username will be the foreign key. These two will be the foreign key. So go to the models and copy the content for this skills. Now we are going to create all these models. So we have skills model, study model, skill model, experience model. So now we are going to create all these models. So paste it here. So what is the skill model? In this skill model we are having user, and this models that foreign key for the user, that is a foreign key, and that is imported from that user model that we are getting from the setting, that is default model in Django, and we are importing that from settings. And the on delete models are cascade, and it can be blank true null true, because uh, for not getting any errors, that's why we are writing as a blank true null true. The slug field, that is also a foreign key from the user info models, and the on delete model set null, and you can write it as model dot cascade, so that we can clear all these from the database. So it should be models dot cascade. So we have changed from all these model dot set null to models dot cascade. And the skill name should be a character field, maximum 950, and the percentage maximum digit can be 4 and decimal places can be 2. That's why we have taken maximum digits as 4. And this slug name, slug dot name, so that it would return the slug, and dot name should be the user's name. So skill is done. Let's go to the study. Study should have two foreign keys, that is user and slug, same before. And board, university name, course, school or college name, all these are character fields. CGP and percentage is a decimal field, maximum digit can be 4 and the decimal basis can be 2. Boolean fields for CGPA, if it is a CGPA, then we will not add the percentage sign in the code, that is uh, in the templates field. So that's why we have writing as it is boolean field. If it is false, then add percentage, otherwise don't add percentage. So skills is done. Services, same as before, we are writing two foreign keys, and service name should be a character field and description should be a text field because it can be lengthy. Work have two foreign keys, and then project name as character field, project type as character field, and project link as character field. And this image is an image field that's uploaded to images. Experience also has two foreign keys. Then organization name is character field and character field. Joining date is a dead field, and ending date can be present, so that's why we are taking as blank. It can be true and null it can be true, and for default we will add as present. Work experience text field, it can be lengthy. So now we have created all the models so far. So now we have created all the models. Let's run the migrate command. So python manage.py make migrations. It should create all these models. Okay, done. Now migrate. So all these database tables are created. Let's run the server again. So we should add all these in the admin so that we can check on the Django admin. What we can do from the models dot import and user info, skills, service, work, experience, anything else, education. Education is not created. Experience, work, service, study. Okay, study is the model. So these are imported. So what we can write, admin dot register, admin dot site dot register, and write all the model names. So we have skill, study, skill, service, work, last is experience. So if you go to the admin page, on the home page you can see all these tables here. So user infos, we have two user infos and these are the slug fields. So on the users info, here it is returning it is returning as slug. So it should return slug because we are using a foreign key. So what this function returns, get go to this slug field. So that's why we are returning a slug. Now we have created tables. Now we need to create forms. So let me just go to the forms page and I will create all the forms in just one row. Info form is created. So let me create all this here. This form is not needed. Okay, so we have to import all these. So first thing we are getting is skills, and skills have four field: user and slug, that is a foreign key that we don't need. That's why we are not writing foreign key, and all the foreign keys is getting from the URLs, post methods, and skill and percentage we need to enter. That's why we are getting this fields. In the education we need to enter these four fields. That's why we are writing here, and all the forms is created like that. Now on the views we have to import these models and from the form as well. So info form, skill form, you can write service form, experience form, and the work form. Okay, these are all the forms. So if I go to the add skills method, that is this, if the request method is post, so the code is indicating that if the request.method is post, then this code will work. Otherwise the form should be a skill form and return this. So for now, if I go to this start button and click on already a user, this, okay, so add skill with no arguments not found. Okay, on the details page, first thing we have to add, this should be a details dot slug button. Now and run this. Now if I click on the next button, it should take me to the add skills page. On this page, this is the get method. For now you can see here this is a get method. So what is indicating that it is just representing this form. This form is a blank form. So whenever I submit this form, let me just write here Python and add it as 90%. And if I click on the save button, now check this. I have clicked on the save button. So now we are getting this error, reverse for skill details with keyword argument thus not found. That is the first thing. And the second thing you can see here, post, and the method name is post for now. So, and the third thing we need to check is here, skills. If I run this, okay, on the home page, I think it is not working because the URL is not good. So let me add this URL first so that it can work. On the skill details, I should have the slug field. Skill details, I should have the slug field. After, okay, let me check for the views what we are doing. So whenever we get the post method, it should get the user and that slug from that user info. So it is getting that slug and it is assigning the all the info to the slug variable. So what we are getting in this slug, we are getting this slug field for the, we are getting the slug field for that particular user. So if I am using my this uh, if I am using my, it is not working because of the URL, I think. So it it will take time. Let me just write it as, if I am using my shank account, then it should have a slug that that is something like the name and that numbers. It is a slug field. So this slug variable have something like this, that is a slug field. So slug will go to this slug variable. Okay. So if form is valid, then the get data from this skill field, from this, that is Python, from this input field will go to this variable, and the percentage data, that is 90, will go to this percent field variable. And now if it is, now it check if not skill.object.filter and that user, that slug. So this is a nested query. So what we are doing here, slug, the slug equals to slug. So this slug is coming from the user info slug. So what we are doing here, slug that is coming from the user info slug is equal to the slug. So let me check. This is something like this. Okay, so this is my slug, that is this, and this slug and this slug is uh, we go to this slug. So here this slug is first slug and that is coming from the this slug. So we are writing nested queries here. So from the slug that is coming from this slug is equals to the slug, that is this. If it is equals to this slug and the skill name is equals to the skill name, then don't add the skill again because we are already having that skill. So what we are doing, if it is not in that skills, then add the skills, save the skills, message that we have successfully registered. Otherwise, response You already have registered the skills, go back and edit if you want, go back. Else message.error request you filled wrong information if it is an error. So this is how the skill page is working. So what we need to do is, if I click on this save again, it will say that you already have registered the skill, edit and go back. Okay, now code this skill details page. We should have a slug. Now we have added a slug here. Okay, so this skip button should also have the slug field. So go to the skill form page and add this details, add the slug, because from the views we are getting this slug key. So can run this. On the click on the skip. Okay, now reverse for add skill with no argument not found. So from where this error is coming, skill details.html page. Go to the skill details.html page. Okay, here add skill and add education. So add skill should have the slug field. So let's write it as slug. Now again run this. Not working fine. So what is missing here? We are writing slug. Okay. Okay. So from where the error is coming with no arguments. This is not found. Tried this. So the error is, I think this error is from because we are not working with this views. And if I go to the skill details.html, here I am getting this slug details or skill, but we are not configuring what is that slug and all this. So what we can do, we can write something like this. So let's go to this views again, templates, not templates. Go to the home and views and check what actually is the code for this getting the details. So actual detail view is this. It's very simple, 2 lines of code. So get all the details of skills that is having this slug that is coming from user info slug equals to slug dot all, and you can write it as user equals to request dot user. Now run it again. Skills details.html does not exist. I think the skill detail is the name. Now it is saying update skill not found. Update skill is not a valid viewer function or pattern name. So this is from the skill details page, I think. So this is not a valid view name. So comment it out for now. 。 . 。 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . . 。 . 。 . . 。 . 。 . 。 。 . 。 。 . 。 。 . 。 。 . 。 . 。 .
。 . 。 . 。 . 。
comment, and comment. Now this page is working fine. If I want to add more skills, I can add more HTML equals to 90. Save. Now it is saved. Now we need two buttons, update and delete. So let's work on these buttons and then we will add more things in this. So we have created the forms and models. You can see all the models and all the forms have been created. Now what we need to do, we need to create views and the URLs. So we have add education, we have education details, and we need the next thing, that is update education function, and this will be same for all these services and work experience, etc. So now what we'll do first, let me just write this login required to all these fields. So paste it here, paste it here, paste it here. Login required for all these fields. So I have applied this login required to all these fields, but not on portfolio and not on CV, because the normal user can see the other person's portfolio and the CV. So let me just go to the education details. So this one is add education. Now we need to configure add education and the education details. So let's go to the GitHub repository in the home and views.py. Here, let me just go to the education info. This one is here, and copy the code from here. So copy this and paste it here. This one is add education. So the HTML file is add education. Copy this and paste it here. And I think the name is education form. Okay, this form is education form, but I think it is not imported. Yes, we need to import education form. So now we need to check for the code. So let's check for the code. So if the request method is post, then the form will be submitted. Otherwise, we will get a education form that is a blank form, and this is for the form, and this is for the slug that we are getting. So here we need to pass the slug as well, so that we can extract the slug. Okay, done. So in the URL, let me check for the slug as well, add education, and here we will get the slug. as well. So this is the slug part. Now what we need to do, we need to check. Here we are checking that if the request method is post, then this form will be submitted, and the slug will be from the user's info and object.get. We will check that user is the authenticated user that we are getting, and the slug part will be the slug that we are getting in the URL. The next thing is, if form is valid, then we will get the data, that is the value of the form, all these data, and we will create a variable named education, and then the study, that is the model that we have created, and all the attributes we will pass. So user as the request dot user slug, we have we already have the slug field from the URL, and the board or university that we have extracted from the form dot clean data dot get. So all these fields, then the save method for saving that uh, data into the model, into the table, and then success method, success uh, message, and then the redirect to the education details with the slug. So here in the education details as well, we need to pass the slug, and this is the education details name. Let me check for this. Okay, it is okay. Now here we need to pass the slug, and we need to write the code. So what we can do, we can create a empty dictionary as we have done before, and we can assign a variable name as education context, and in that we can write it as details, and we can write it as get object or 404, and user. Okay, education can be multiple fields, like a person can submit multiple education details, like his secondary education, graduation, and post graduation. So what we need to do, we need to write, so education study is the model, and in that model we need to filter the data. So user equals to request dot user, and the slug equals to slug underscore slug equals to slug dot all. So here we can write it as details and slug. So this is the key value pairs we are writing here. We don't need the context. We have created a dictionary in the uh, render method. So I think this is okay. Let me check for the GitHub code. So this is the education detail. It is written that filter slug equals to this and this. So user must be the same. So this is also a valid point. So this is okay. Let me check for the so TJ. Let's just wait for this. Okay. Okay, it is working fine. So log in first. I think this is the okay. So I am a user. This one is my account, and I go to the next. The next is skills. I have created skills details form, skills details page. So I just pressed skip button on the skills detail. Let me check. I have two more fields we have not configured yet, that is update and delete. So we need to do that also. So it is taking time. So it is saying that no reverse match. Let me go to the uh, this page. It is saying add education. So it is because of this education details, and here comment this part first and comment. So this is okay. Add education is, where is the education here? Here no, nothing is. So I think the error is from somewhere else. So the error is because of this. We need to pass this slug here. So the slug is this. Let me just again run again. It is working fine now. So if you want to add more skills, you can go here and add more, like CSS 30. Save. Okay. If you want to go to the next, so education details with no arguments not found on the education form at education.html. Here education details with slug. So we are here and we click skip. We are not having any education details, so we can add. Click on add more. Here you can add your education details, like you can write your university name. So here I'm writing as university name, and you can add your course here, like a B.Tech, and your college name, something. If you are let me write as college name here, and if you are uh, adding here the percentage, you can just write 90 and save. Here you can see this is a percentage sign. If you want to add more, you can add university name, course, you can write M.Tech. You can add your school name or college name. So CGPA, let me just write 8 CGPA and I want to configure it as CGPA. Save it. Now you can see here there is no mark for the percentage. Why we are getting this? So go to the education details. Now here you can see that if we are having details.cgba, then if details.cgpa is true, then we are not having the percentage, means this checkbox is selected, or you can check this checkbox is checked. That's why we are not having this percentage sign. If the checkbox is not checked, then that means it is a percentage. So that's why we are having this. So all these details dot and the key. So the key is board or university or the course. So these are coming from these models, that is for you, that is used for the study model. So in the views for add education, we are having this form, and for details we are having this details key, and details dot any key name, that is coming from this models, that is study. So as we have done with this education and skills, now the next thing is services. So what we can do, we can go to GitHub and we can copy all the services. All the next thing is work, means projects, and the experience data, experience views file. We can copy this and paste so that it will be easier and less time consuming. So to get to the home, go to the views. So you need to add this service detail view. Copy this. So paste it here. So service details.html is correct. We need to pass slug as well. So that's how we can get the services that we provide. And service info form is here. Copy this and paste it here. Add service.html is the file name. Let me copy and paste it. It is done. So here we need to pass slug. That is okay now. For work and experience as well. This is for work. Everything is same. This is for work info. Pass slug as well. And this is HTML file. Delete this. In this we are having request.files, because in the work we can have the project image, project homepage image. The next thing is experience info. Copy and add experience. It will also have slug field, slug, and then slug here. Okay, this is dot So let me copy all this again and paste it right here. Now delete this, the add experience.html. Copy it. Now add all the details. So go to the details. The service detail is done. Now this is work details. This one is for work details, and all these things are same. Just need this slug. The next is experience details. Copy, paste. Need the slug as well. The next one is work details. Now we need two things, portfolio and CV. Let me just configure first URLs. So just pass this slug everywhere. Experience and the experience details. Now all these things are done. Go to the page and go to the home again. Start, already a user, click here. So next, here we already added skills. Next thing is education. We already added education. So it is saying service with no arguments not found. Okay, service with no argument not found. Okay, so the service education details, we are clicking on this. Now if I run this again, now you can see next service details with no argument. So on the add services, so here service details with no arguments. So let me just pass the slug again. Now we can see the services. So we can write it as backend development. So this is the service that we provide. Service details you can write here and save this file. Update service not found, and this is because of these two buttons. So first comment this part, we will configure it later. So click work with no argument not found. So this should be passed with slug. This should be passed with slug as well. Now run it again. So you can see here we have added this backend development. We can add more like front-end development. Service details same. You can write here about services. So this is done. Now next thing is, so here it is saying work details with no arguments not found. Go to the add work.html. On this page we need to write slug on the work details. Here we also need to write slug. Here we also need to write slug on the add experience. Here we need to write slug On the experience details, here we need to write slug. So I think this is done. Run it again. You can write your project, about your project here. So let me write my project name. So you can write as website 1. This is a portfolio website. You can write your project link. For example, I'm writing www.google.com, and you can choose a file. So save this. So it is saying update work not found and update work is not a valid viewer function name. That is because on the work details we are having the same buttons, these two buttons. This is done on the work details. Now go to the experience detail. Here we also have these buttons, so configure this so that we cannot get the error again. We will not get the errors because of this issue. Okay, now you can see here this is the uh, image, this is the name, and this is the project link. So you can add more, so but for now skip this. Now you can add here past experience. So you can write your company name here. Let me write it as Google. The post was a backend developer. You can add the calendar details. So let me choose for the past years for 2019 from January. So this is done, and you can choose as today. Work experience, you can write about your work experience. So you can write here about your work experience and the projects you have done so far. So this is how it will appear here, and you can add more same as before, but now we are going to keep it blank. And something here, okay, so you already registered with this company, so if the company name is same then you cannot go ahead. So let me write Facebook, save. Now you can see here we are getting present because what we are doing in the experience details, if the joining date, and here if the details dot ending date is none, then present else the ending date, because we are not writing any detail, any date in the ending date or the last date for the job past experience. We are not filling that field, that's why we are getting none. And then if we are getting none, we are writing it as present. So that's how it is working. So for the same company, let me go to the views, and in the experience you can see here, if not experience objects dot filter user and the slug and the organization name, if it is not there in this experience model with with this user, with this slug, and with this organization, then you can register this. Otherwise it will return this error as you are already registered with this company. So this is how it is working on the clicking of the create portfolio, what we are going to do, we are getting the we are going to get the portfolio detail, full portfolio website. So how we can do this? First thing is this: we need to pass the slug here so that we can get all these details of that user. Now the second thing is, here in the portfolio function we need to pass all this models details. So go to the GitHub and copy this and paste it here. What we are doing here, we are getting all the information that we passed in these details functions. So what we are doing, we are doing all these things that we have done before in this details functions. We are creating an empty dictionary. In that dictionary we are having different keys like info, education, skill, services, work, experience, experience count, and project count, etc. And we are passing this dictionary into this render function, and we are calling this HTML page, so that all the data can be rendering through this portfolio page. So now if I click, run it again, if I click on the create portfolio, so it is saying create with no argument. Okay, so on the experience details, uh, create with no arguments not found, that's why we are passing the slug here. Now if I click on this create portfolio button, you can see the portfolio is created, the name is here, the post is here, the place where we live is here. So this is the button for download CV, but we have not configured this button, so that it will not work as that I want. So you can see the services are here. Here what are some of my expertise, my skills. So skills are appearing like this. This is your education that you have filled. This is your work experience, and as we go down, you can see here work one, that is the portfolio website, website one, projects details, the contact details is here. So it is loading, it is taking time to load, again reload. Now you can see this is the email, this is the place, and this is the number that we have filled, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0. So this is how the things are done. Now go to the CV, create CV function. This is the create CV function, and copy all this, paste in the create CV function. Now it needs uh, it needs one thing, that is render to PDF function. These things are that we have done for these details as same as before, but this is the new thing. Test HTML, print details. So this is for debugging. No need of this now, but we need this render to PDF function. So how we can get this function? You can get this function from the import statement. So this is the statement is here, but there is one thing that we have not done. So it is saying that we are not having this util file. So what we can do, we can create a file, util.py file, utilities. That means we are going to create a function that is rendered to PDF in this util file, and here we need some packages. So we need these packages. If you have not downloaded, then you need to download these packages by test io pisa xhtml to pdf. So main thing is xhtml to pdf that you need to download. So now it is working fine. Let me run it again, and on the portfolio.html file, what is the file name for the portfolio? This one is the portfolio.html. Here we are having the button for the CV. This is the create CV button. We need slug. This is the first thing. So let me check for the views if we are passing the slug or not. On the views, for the portfolio we are passing the slug. No, actually we are not passing the slug, but how I can get the slug? We can get the slug from info.slug, I think. So go to the portfolio.html and we can get the slug as info.slug because info is the key. So here you can see that info is the key for the user info, and in the user info we are having the slug field so that we can use info.slug. This is for the one. Here the second one, CV. So info.slug. Why two create CV buttons? Because we have two images here, different image, different buttons. Click on the reload button. So it is saying create CV with no argument, with arguments not found. On the URLs, CV with slug. Run it again. Click on download CV. Now it is on the other page. Here it is a PDF. Now you can download this PDF as this is the resume. So this is how all things are done in this video. Now we are going to update the all the details. So go back to the home, go back to the skills page. So here we can update this by using this edit button, but on the skills we are not having this button. So what we can do, go to the this views.py file and check for update and delete. For the update for all the other functions, it will be same, like for skills, for services, for education, for work, everything will be same, but the name will be changed. Just name will be changed. So I'm going to do it for this update skill. Go to the update skill. uh, okay, views. Here create new function def update skill request slug, paste it here. So it is taking the object. So what is the object? It is using the function that is get object or u404, and the skill is the model name, and the user that is authenticated user here, that is the user that is logged in, and the slug field as the slug that we are passing, and skill is the skill as same that we are passing in the URL as well. So if you want to edit the skill as that is registered as Python, then edit that skill. Form will be skill form, and the request the post or none because we are getting the data in this form, and instance will be the object that we are uh, getting because of the URL. And if the form is valid, if that the form that we submitted is valid, then get the data and save the form, and message will be successful message. And the this form is this form variable is for the form that is not submitted yet, but this form is that if the form is submitted and the form is valid. So this is how it is done. We need to create URL for the update skill path, update skill. We need to pass slug, we need to pass skill name, mm, the function name is update skill, and name is as same as update skill. So this is done, and let me just add for the detail delete as well. Delete skill, slug, skill, views dot delete skill, name it as delete skill. So but we are not having this function delete skill here. Let's create def delete skill request slug like skill. So we have forgotten this login required field, that is must here. Now get this obj as before we have done this. Get the obj, and in the obj get this skill detail. What is this skill name actually? So copy this, paste this here. So object is skill object dot filter, user is equals to user, and this is how we are getting this particular skill. So now what we need to do, we need to go to the skill details. Here we have commented out this part. Now we need to remove these comments because we are using this update and delete skill function, and we are passing these things. So run it again. Now you can see here two buttons, edit and delete. So these are the two buttons. We can add class as we can add styling as color red so that we can differentiate between buttons. So these are the delete buttons and these are the edit buttons. Click on edit. Now it is saying template does not exist. Okay, because we are not having this update skill template, that's why we need to create a template. So create template, that is update skill, and here we need to write the code. So for time being, go to the templates folder and get the update skill template. This is same as add skill. All the things that we are going to add here is same as add skill, because we are getting this instructions and we are getting a form, but in this form we are getting a value. So this is the only change in this form, just the value, and everything is same. So run it again. Now you can see here the values Python is percentage this. Now you can change it as 10 update. So here you can see this is changed. You can click on delete. Just by clicking on delete you can delete this. So this is removed. This is how you can done update and delete. Now you are going to update this board or university. So going to the board or university, we need update education.html. So here update education, this is the new HTML template. So copy this, paste it here. Here everything is same, just the values change. So in the values we are using the dynamic data, that is form dot and the variable name. So update education template is created. The next thing is update experience and update services, update work. So let me just create for the update service. So and the name is update service.html. Copy, paste. The next is update work. Copy this, paste it here, and the last one is update experience. So all the update templates are created now. Now the thing is we need to create views. So we have created one view for the skill. Now everything will be same, so we are going to copy and paste. Go to the views, so in the views update skill is done. So here is the education service and the delete is for all here. So delete experience, copy all. So let me remove this delete skill from here. So update skill, update education, update service, update work, update experience. All these things are added here. Now what we need to do, we need to create the URLs. Copy these two URLs, paste, just change the names, update education we can copy this, update education here. So here we are going to name it. Let me check for the this. So in the views for the education, update education, what we are getting for update education, we are getting course. So here in the URLs we can write it as course. So what we can do, we can just copy the URLs as well by writing hard coded here. Go to the home and the URLs. So update experience, date experience. We need experiences. We need education. We need work. We need services. And we need education. So everything is done. So we can add this string or we can just keep it as it is. So now if I run this, we are not getting the buttons. So go to the education details and delete these comments so that we can get the buttons. Now we are getting these buttons. If I click on this, add it. So update skill got an expected keyword argument course. Okay. On the URLs. Okay, let me just go to the education details. Here we're getting this, but on the URLs. Okay, so this is the update education. This is also education. Now go back. So if I click on this edit, now it is disconnected. Let me again connect with the, so it is connected now. Run it again. So here you can see this is, we are getting university name. Now we are going to change it as University of Shimla. So let me update this. Now you can see here University of Shimla is updated, and now I can delete this as well. So it is deleted now. So this is done. Let me add more. So skip this part, and next we are having services here, but in this page also we are not having these buttons. Go to the services details, comment, delete these comments. And for the experience also we need services experience details, we will this delete comment. And for the work details we will delete comments. So you can click on edit, and this is backend development and something about the service update. This is updated. Now you can delete it as well. Deleted messages here. Next, you can add project. Skip this. We have already added the project. Here we are having two buttons. Edit. Edit this. Now you can 1, 2, 3. Just change the name. We are having this image here. Update. You can delete this as well. Delete it. You can add more from this. You can add. Let me skip this project. So here it is experience form. Now I want to edit this one. So here you can see these name. This name is, this is the post name. You can, now you have to write again the joining date and the ending date. So let me just add this and keep it blank. Update. This is updated. Like delete. So it is getting delete experience got an expected argument, that is organization name. Okay. So on the views, I think experience is getting organization name. On the URLs as well, we are passing this organization name. So what is wrong with this? Slug in the organization name got an expected argument. So here we are having this post. On the delete experience, we need to write organization name here. Now you can run it again. So the content you want to update has been deleted. So go back, and if I click on delete, it is saying the content you want to update has been deleted. So here, okay, we are getting this post as post. So we need to write it as organization name equals to organization name. Now it will work fine. Go back, run it again, click on delete, and now it is work experience is deleted. So now this is how it will work, and now you can click on create portfolio. You can click on create CV, download CV. You can download it. So this is how this website works. You can go to this and you can click on log out. So this was all about this website and this project.